Okay, well, we did a moon party in Vienna in 2002, and we had a video jockey. So we had some slides of the Apollo landings, which we were projecting in the old cinema space. So I took 2 of the waist slides, and I literally put it on a string and on a pin, like one of the clips. And I wear that every now and then. You know, we have the moon landing party coming up, I might wear it. So it's essentially leftover waist slides of the Apollo landing as a necklace. And you know, I'm getting older, so I'm trying to find who will inherit it, and I think I found someone who will inherit it. I think design and technology need to go hand in hand. Let me give you an example. You know, the International Space Station that is orbiting the Earth as we sit here, in my view, it's an over-engineered and under-designed piece of space hardware. What I mean by that is the NASAs of the world take an engineering-centric approach to design. There are no openings for industrial designers or architects. So I think we as designers, I mean, this is a specific anecdote, but I think in the future when space tourism becomes real and you and I pay our way to get into space, we will want our spacecraft, our spaceships, to have designers and architects work in concert with the engineers, with the scientists, and only then can we ensure, you know, the right habitability conditions, comfort, style. It is about safety and survivability, but more than that. So I think design and technology need to be in bed together rather than be either or. Okay, in fact, what I do is spaceship architecture, right? So, and there are 2 kinds of spaceships. There's the Earth, which is a spaceship, and there is, say, a space habitat, which is also a spaceship. And when you bring architecture and juxtapose it with spaceship, what we are essentially saying is the choreography of living in microgravity or in 1/6 gravity has certain human factors that needs to be taken into account to design that space or that piece of architecture. So I personally think they are related. I don't think there's nothing about the difference, rather how do we bring them together. If you look at the Earth as a spaceship, and if you look at extreme cities like Sao Paulo or Bombay or New York or Tokyo, there's a lot of similarity with spaceship design because the problems are very similar. Resource scarcity, privacy, hygiene, psychological issues, micro-society issues. So I think even when you talk of architecture, there are reciprocities between living terrestrially and living in extraterrestrial environments. Okay, again, I think I don't think I will address the difference question. I think I would rather address what is complementary about architecture and jewelry. You know, I'm a big fan of Art Deco or Art Nouveau. And to me, Art Deco has manifested itself in architecture. It's manifested itself in films, in jewelry. So I think, for example, I think the future is in some ways about minimalism. So how do we bring in minimalism, whether it's architectural things we are designing for living, inhabiting, or the architectural jewelry itself, you know. What I wear has an architecture to it. And there can be crossovers and there can be parallels, really. It's not about differences, it is about finding where the orbits cross. Forever, I think love, universe, and this one is visual, but peace. Okay, the first thing, I mentioned it in my talk. When I used to visit Anand Sarabhai's residence growing up in Ahmedabad, every single day the soap was placed on a fresh piece of leaf, and to me that is luxury. I think to be able to live in a world where you don't really have to worry about where your food is going to come from or where you're going to sleep that night. When I see the refugee crisis, when I see the kind of hardships that the refugees, the day laborers are facing because of climate change, I think to not be in their shoes is a very big luxury. And I think we need to recognize the fact that we cannot treat them as the other. And I think since you've asked me 3 things when I use the word luxury, I think to be even in an automobile using carbon-based fuel, to transport myself from A to B is a luxury, and we need to figure out how to actually minimize that access to luxury. So I think even sitting in an automobile and transporting, tomorrow if there's no fuel left, I mean, what are we talking about? That's a luxury. Oh yes. So this is a young entrepreneur, well not so young anymore, who used to work for MTV, and he left and he started working with the Channapatna artisans 200 kilometers from here. So the Channapatna artisans typically make toys, which what he did is he contemporized the design of the Channapatna toys. I collect his toys too, and this is a Channapatna sort of piece of jewelry that he's designed. And this one here is a Murano ring from Venice. I had exactly something like this given by my solar sister, my Vienna friend. It broke. I was in Guwahati, it broke. So she got me exactly the same Murano because she goes for the Venice Biennale every year, so she got me another one.
Thank you so much, Susmita, for your time.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you.